It is the podcast. And I'm gonna say that. Someone said the first 2 minutes of podcast are nails on a chalkboard, cats screaming. But when we start dropping knowledge, it perks back up.
They're not wrong. And
it's
my singing. That's really... I've been singing the last few podcast episodes, and I can tell, nails on chalkboard. Your feedback is being listened, heard, and understood.
The unhinged part, and lady, if you're listening to this, thank you, but also wild, is I posted a link to the podcast breakdown, which I do in the group every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's also the same thing that goes out in the Wednesday newsletter. So I post it, and I honestly don't believe that the lady knew we were the people on the podcast. I think she was just like, oh, they're linking to a podcast that they found. So she is open arms telling me that she doesn't like the speakers for the first 2 minutes. This back and forth, this giggly part's the worst. But when they start dropping knowledge, it kind of picks up. And then she says, thanks so much for the share. I said,
do you have a Band-Aid? Because my heart is broken.
No, I passed away when she wrote that. And then I said, well, I'm a human as well.
You're not wrong. So let's dive in to what is this podcast about?
This is an excerpt of the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group on Facebook, which is a group of around 46,000, hopefully mostly bakers. But we have some people in other industries because marketing is universal.
It is universal. And
Corrie,
if it's like...
What were we talking about this weekend? We were like, marketing makes a world turn. I think we had a long drive, and I'll get to that in my Twinterest. But we were saying that marketing makes the world turn because you can have the best idea in the entire world, and if nobody hears about it and can buy it, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah. I think marketing and sales, I was thinking about it, hand-holding sisters. You can't have one without the other.
Sisters. You don't hold my hand. We are sisters.
We're not sisters.
We're sisters.
So marketing and sales and marketing, they go hand in hand. They're distant cousins, but they're...
I think everyone who says, I want to own a business, even if you don't like marketing sales, guess what? You like marketing
I was
sales.
thinking, we said, we want to be bakers. But when we said those words, it said, with a little asterisk next to bakers, social media marketer, marketing, sales department.
The 17 hats. Almost the last thing you do is bake. And sometimes I think that's why businesses have to grow and add people, because the person who started was performing a service, but now their service is running the business.
I know. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
I was like, the part I hate most about baking is the correspondence. And that has nothing to do with it.
That's why wholesale, we don't talk about wholesale much because we don't do it, but wholesale is great because you remove sales and marketing and you pay, essentially, cutting your profits down, you pay for somebody else to do that.
Yes.
And that is magic if you can find it. But then again, you're like, well, I put in so much work and I can make so much money if I just ran this place out.
If I cut them out.
And then we're back to wearing 17 hats. So removing the nails from the chalkboard now, let's jump into today's podcast, which is a very interesting one because the content was generated last night, although it was planned out for about a month. We have not been able to see the results of this yet, but we have seen the entire process. And I'm going to let Corrie's going to talk for most of this one. I'm going to prompt you and keep you guided.
Keep me on target.
Yeah, I don't want you jumping ahead, bud. When I raise my eyebrows with the Botox allows, I want you to zero.
My Botox is running out. Can you tell?
Okay, well, backstory is Corrie did a collab, a local collab. And I know what you're thinking. We know what collabs are. No, not this one. And we'll talk about the difference between the one you think you know and the one that she did in point 2. See where I'm going?
Got it.
Okay, so what is a collab? Oh, I'm sorry, it's point 1.
Oh.
What is a collab? So I'm going to break down the collabs that we do in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. And I know a lot of you are like, we haven't done collabs in a minute. It's because Instagram removed the recent hashtag filter kind of threw us. So we might have to take these collabs to Facebook. But what the collab is, in terms of how we use it typically, is a bunch of bakers get together in a social media group, which is the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. And we have a designated date and a designated theme. The bakers all get together, but in the respective own homes, and you'll create a theme. So we did a fun one in October, and it was a pumpkin patch collab.
We did.
And everyone made a pumpkin. The only requirement is that you had to make a pumpkin and it had to be on a white background, the photo. Then we took everyone's pumpkin and we removed the background and made a pumpkin patch. Now, on that day, everyone posted them to Instagram using a specific designated hashtag, which is Sugar Cookie Marketing Collab. And everyone was required for 1 hour to engage with everyone else who had participated.
Yeah, so it was very cute. Hey, can anyone recognize my pumpkin? Can you find my pumpkin in the patch? That was speaking to your audience. But while you're speaking to your target audience, you have these other bakers coming in and acting like, oh, I think I see yours, as a comment. And what it did is boost you in the algorithms.
So that's important. The goal of this collab is to boost you in the algorithms algorithm. The algorithm. You gotta get up there, boosted in them there algorithms. The algorithms have eyes. In the algorithm. What everyone engaged with everybody, it put your pumpkin into more feeds of your audience while other bakers were engaging. So a lot of people were like, wow, that's the most popular post I've ever had on my page, because on an Instagram account that's hyper local, you may have 100, 200, 300 followers, but here you have bakers and they weren't allowed to follow you. They were only allowed to engage, and that one post got 30, 40, 50, 60 comments and likes.
Yeah. So what it did was your next few posts after that kind of was able to reach a few more people because you had such great engagement on that post. So you're riding the high of the algorithm.
The algorithm.
My
favorite algorithm.
One collab we did was called the Main Street Cookie Collab.
You know what's so funny? Somebody yesterday was like, 3 years removed, I've gotten a lead from the Main Street.
So the Main Street one probably was the best for both local business and for engagement because it was hyper local. So we said, go into your town, your main street basically of your town, and cookify something on your main street that people would recognize, whether it be a statue, whether it be like a little mom and pop shop that everyone knows, and you would make it into a cookie. A lot of people used Eddie for it. Some people hand piped it. It was great.
I think it was Lydia who had originally done it.
Yeah. So we did that, and people saw so much business from it because, one, your post was local. It was hyper local.
It accomplished three things.
Yeah.
It was the point of the collab, which is an influx of likes and comments, but it also featured to your audience a local business. So your audience is like, well, I'm used to buying cookies, but he's telling me about this business I've never heard of. And then the business also said, oh my goodness, someone featured me. And a lot of those business turned around and said, oh, we'd like to buy the cookies. We didn't know you could do this. It's a lot of fun. So those collabs are online digital collabs, and they're a blast. And you can find them in a lot of places. Corey and I got to retool ours. Maybe we could do Facebook, since Facebook business pages have feeds. I wonder
with that, would we get like when you get so many comments in such a short amount of time, and then it's like, would it
be considerably more difficult. And that's why we've been putting it off. So let us put it off further and move along here. So that is an online collab. Now we're going to talk about local collabs. And this is what Corrie spent all yesterday doing. And she only had 2 days to prep for it. So a local collab could be wedding, event planners, birthday parties, corporate things. Basically, when they create a preferred vendor list, and you join in on that. So you're like, I don't see how that's a collab. Yeah, you're collaborating. But what Corrie did yesterday, and I'm kind of going to break this down. She's going to dive into a lot further on point 4. What I said to Corrie today, I don't think you think in hierarchical structures.
And I said, listen, you're staring at the outline.
You want to stare at it?
It might help me. Okay. I might have to have it printed off.
So Corrie joined this collab, and it was a lady who does adult picnics, not adult themed picnics. They were just picnics for adults.
Yeah.
What are these adult picnics? Leave your clothes at the door. It was a picnic for adults in terms of, like, let's say you wanted to get your girlfriends together. It's like a take on a baby shower. Yeah. But all you do is say, I want a picnic planned. You show up to one of the local parks, and it is quite a beautiful picnic table, like with pillows and draperies and candles and flowers and
you're thinking like this kind of table, right?
The last picnic you went on where the bugs were you're eating
with that checkered tablecloth.
Not that. This is like very themed. So all you had to do is tell this is her business model. Party picnics or something?
Dreamy picnics.
All you got to say is, here's what I want. Here's the day I want it. When you show up to the park, it's all set up and there's nobody like watching you.
Yeah.
It's just ready to go for you, and the food is ready and whatever. So the lady had posted in a local community group saying she was doing one of these collabs. These local collabs needed people to volunteer for flowers, volunteer for props and stuff, volunteer for setup, and volunteer for these cookies or cakes. So she was kind of open to what
she said, just looking for vendors. If you want to volunteer, whatever you do, if we can work it in with the theme.
Yeah, so it seemed like a wide open thing, and Corey's like, well, I'll take on cookies. So that was great. So this is how the collab works. So that was kind of the concept of it, and I'll have Corrie break down exactly how it went and predict what the results might be.
I wonder,
So let's jump into the pros and cons of these local collabs.
So pro number 1, we already have a list, and you're staring at it.
Con. Corey said the con is it's free labor.
Con is you're not getting paid for it.
This is 100% marketing.
Yeah. So we ended up deciding on a dozen cookies, and I ended up throwing in like a dozen cake pops too. So that is pulling straight from my marketing budget because I got $0.
We had labor, product, and absolutely no money up front.
And it took me an hour to get there, and I was there for 3 and an hour to get back.
Oh yeah, part of the people she asked to collab was supposed to be a photographer. Unfortunately, these picnics were outside. It had rained when the photographer was available. When they rescheduled again, so they also had models essentially.
Yeah. So there was 5 models
pretending they were at this baby shower, wedding shower. So it was a lot of moving parts, and we're going to get to that in a second. But the photographer canceled, and so now we have free work with no results. Now, great, we talk about photography a lot in this group. Corrie brought her camera, which kind of saved it a little bit. Moving on, so if the con is free work, the pro is the referral network and connection. So kind of break down. One, there was a lady who runs events that brought the ladies.
Yeah, so one of the models actually runs a community group for the richest part of town, which was in Loudoun County.
So that lady knew already a lot of people.
She already knew. So she was actually the person that all the models knew. So the models didn't necessarily know each other, but they knew this one lady who does a lot of marketing. The reason why I chose to be part of this collab is because the event planner, the Dreamy Picnic lady, posts a lot on social media, always tags people. So you there, smart. Just from that,
you're going to get juice from this regardless, even at the worst case scenario.
Yeah, that you're going to tag me because, one, you saw my work in person. Now we have a face-to-face friendship.
So this lady essentially brings, speaking about this referral network, she brings a lady who hosts, I would say, meet and greets for women in a high-end part of our Northern Virginia area. She brought in a florist. Okay, the florist is going to be tied into a lot of wedding and event venues. She would have brought in the photographer. Again, it was just a scheduling conflict, but the photographer was known for wedding and events.
Yeah.
Then she herself had a lot of these, picnics, but she also does indoor event planning.
Like wedding showers and
bridal showers.
Yeah, so...
And then you have Corrie, who provides cookies and also deals with it. So now we have all the vendors surrounding this target audience, and all of them have different network connections. That's why Corrie did this for real, is to really test those connections of this referral network. Cons, though, no guarantee of leads.
No, you're not guaranteed anything.
Of mice and
men. If I would have showed up and maybe our personalities clashed.
That would be something we want to talk about, is the lack of direction.
It could be.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say, everyone put in their best effort, which I saw the pictures this morning.
I feel like everyone was A-gaming it.
But let's say we see 0 results from the referral network side of this. Now that would turn over to Corrie and be like, make it work. Make it work.
Yeah.
What was that show? Project Runway? Make it work. You just would have to make it work. But assuming that this works the way it was intended, Corrie now has 4 more to 5 more referral lead sources, which is better than what she had before she left.
Yeah. My main goal was to connect with the picnic event lady. That was my number one goal.
I like having a single focused goal, and whatever else is either icing or detrimental, and it's fine.
Because I was like, if I make her look good, eventually she'll make me look good.
That is good. But that's the risk here when we do an investment. Sometimes investments don't pan out. High risk, high reward. So the high risk is that nothing comes from this. The high reward is that everything comes from this. We just don't know yet. This is her first time doing this as well. A lot of moving pieces. I'm going to say that, judging by how you described it, where you were kind of directing everything, she's going to ask you to do this again.
I could see me being included in the future.
But you're going to weigh it off of what was the results of us. If the con is no guarantee of leads, the pro would be passive long-term lead generation, which is one of those really solid ways. We are slaves to the algorithm. We slaves to the algorithm because we constantly have to pour into it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't pour into it, you fall out of feeds. To bring it back is resuscitation. It's difficult. But with these passive long-term lead gens, as Corrie got her, every time that lady posts a photo again, she's going to tag Corrie. Every time that other lady has a florist event and then somebody says, oh, I wish I had a baker, she can get a referral. And that would be the pro of this kind of risk here, is that she's now planted and watered 5 lead gen sources coming from all different avenues of the same target audience, which is pretty unique.
And all across Northern Virginia. We weren't all from one location.
It couldn't get more targeted. We have a wedding planner. We had a florist. We had, technically, it was supposed to be a photographer and the lady that headed up the models, and then Corrie's the baker herself. With our powers combined, we have money. So again, nothing could come of this. I don't think that's how this is going to work. It's too many people who are too proficient for it not to work out. But that could be a risk. But the pro is a lot of very proficient people with a lot of network connections. So funny, Corrie had said that the lady who was the meet and greet planner that brought all the models, Corey's like, she is constantly posting in social media, in these community groups, because she's trying to find people to get together for these meet and greets, which a lot of these meet and greets are free. So she's allowed to post a lot more frequently than people with paid stuff. So there again is that connection. Those are the kind of people you don't want to make them mad either, because there's a lot of social media. Con, it's only as good as the camera equipment. Okay. That was the issue with this, is that while the photographer had initially committed to it, they had a rain date and then the photographer wasn't able to make it. So Corey's like, when I got there, everyone just has iPhones, which not that you can't make an iPhone work, but that's a wild card.
It is a wild card because one, if you had an older phone, if we don't like to edit the same. So what I figured out when I got there is the picnic event planner is big into videos, which is fantastic. Her phone was... I had to even say, like, what phone are you using? Because this looks amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, it was my phone, but she must have tweaked it. Yeah, she was doing fantastic. She had already known the angles because she focuses a lot on video content.
But you don't, because Corey prefers a page post to a story post.
Yeah.
So Corey's like, well, this isn't going to, videos don't perform. They used to perform so well, but now they don't perform as well in feed posts. They do much better in Instagram and Reels. So then we have this, this content. So... photographer's gone. Photographer's going to be the still shot person. Corrie hedged her bets. She borrowed actually 2 cameras. She brought her own Canon and she took the Sony. The reason why her Canon is a macro lens.
No, I have both, but yours just like has this like feel to it.
Yeah, our older sister Ashley is an Instagram girly, and she had found this camera from Sony. It was a mirrorless point and shoot. It's the A7C, which is cheaper than the A7 III. I think it's not cheap by any means. Yeah. We're in Eddie territory over here. But it was meant, she was like, this is a lifestyle camera.
So if you guys know, I take pictures of cookies. Cookies don't move.
Zoomed in.
Very zoomed in.
Everything is planned.
Everything is planned.
Cookie photos.
What's great about this Sony camera is it's very people friendly.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. People describe it as it comes out of camera with almost an Instagram filter vibe without having an Instagram filter. So we got blurred out background. It's not so blurred that you can't understand what's happening. It has, I think we had a 35 millimeter on it, which is not a zoom lens, but it was a really nice lens, 2.8 f-stop, so you can get enough blur. We're not at 1.4. It's a compromise of everything, but it does a great job for lifestyle, which means zoom out, people, settings, scenery.
So I was a little bit of a fish out of water.
Corey was like, can I borrow it? I've never touched it. And I was like, hey man, if it doesn't fit, don't force it. Like, there's pieces that move, but they don't move all the way.
Yeah, so I used the camera I was comfortable with for more of like the still shots of the table setup, the cookie
The photo you took, assuming you edited it.
I did.
Did you think that the profile in the Sony camera was pretty flat?
I thought it just needed a little zhuzhing, but every photo I've ever taken on my own camera needs a little zhuzh.
That means Lightroom, a little zhuzh.
Yeah, a little edit, but then just to brighten up the colors to reflect what I saw yesterday.
Something really cool about that Sony camera, which your Canon might have it, I don't know if you configured it, is you can have the camera send your phone the photo with just the air.
I tried to do that at dinner. I was like,
it takes 3 brain cells and 2 Botox appointments to get it to work.
Yeah, my iPhone was like, do you remember your Apple ID? I said, I do not.
So again, Corrie hedged her bets there. I mean, at the end of the day, I suppose you could have called a sister to come help you. But again, if there is no photographer, the photographer cancels her. We got really just cell phone quality equipment. You're like, ooh, I've invested a lot here and I'm not going to get a lot of usable content.
So it was nice that I've taken my own photography course in the college and was able to incorporate some of that knowledge into yesterday, even though I never claimed to be a photographer.
So if the con is that you're only as good as the camera equipment, the pro is that if the camera equipment's dialed in, you've got a ton of content.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that lady is going to put it on her website. She's going to put it on her social media. She's going to put it on every place. I guarantee you're going to see it on a business card. It was very bright. It was everything that the picnic lady wanted. And now all these 5 lead gen people have this content that they can start tagging Corrie in, and then Corrie can use it herself as well.
Yeah. What's great is like the florist there was like taking some photos with her cell phone. But then I showed her what it looked like on camera.
What'd you think?
She said, well, I'm putting my phone away.
Right.
I will need those by the week.
I will say that I know people are like, it's not the camera, it's the photographer, but it is a little part of the camera. Your tools increase your skill set. And Corrie and I don't think we're photographers.
No.
I know I'm not.
That's why I went into it saying like, the more photos you take,
Yes.
you can't go back.
I always say, like, when you're not good, there's economies of scale here. You can always delete. You can't time
go
travel.
back.
So that's a lot of content. I think it turned out really well. I think everyone will be really happy with it. The better the content looks, the more likely people are to share it. And then I think on the flip side, this is very akin to scheduling a photo shoot, a headshot shoot of the baker, but you don't have to be in it this time, so it doesn't feel so me.
Yeah.
It can be like, hey guys, here's what I did for this event. And now it opens the door that, hey, I can be used for your baby shower, your wedding shower, your whatever.
Yeah. What was very nice, and I did not take advantage of it. It was 87 degrees yesterday.
It was a little hot.
And you could cut the humidity with a knife.
Swam to the picnic.
Yeah. So I did not show up.
Was that adult themed picnic?
I didn't show up dressed at all. I didn't show up with my best dress because I knew I was going to be behind the camera because we had already determined the photographer couldn't come. So I said either I try to do my hair and my photos don't turn out.
If you're going to be the photographer, you're not going to be the center of attention.
Before she let the models go, she said, Corrie, would you want to sit there and I'll take the photos of you.
Which was nice.
Very nice, yes.
It was a nice spring day.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So if the photographer would have been there, it would have been better. I could have sat there with the cookies, but I said, listen.
Were you dripping in sweat?
Absolutely. And you know when I take a photo, this squishes against my glasses, squish against my forehead. So I had a lime.
Don't even need you to finish it. What she's saying is her makeup was on the glasses.
You were saying
make glasses.
Where my glasses were on my face.
Lace glasses here for dignity too. Lots of moving parts and people, which Corrie experienced is that this was rescheduled one time. When it was rescheduled for the second time, she only had 2 days to plan for it.
Yeah.
So that could be rough. That might be telling the picnic lady, let's come up with the colors. I'm going to frost and freeze.
Yeah.
And then I'll thaw these out for the event because you were like, oh my goodness, I have to be awake really late tonight. I did not have this prepared.
I know. So was it any fault of her own? No, the first day was rained out. It would have been horrendous if we showed up. Yeah. So because she had 5 different models, the florist, the photographer who canceled, and me, she had so many moving parts that she said, I know this is going to be hard. 10 people
total, right?
I think it was.
there's an assistant.
Oh, and the assistant. Yeah, so there was
5 of the models, right? Then you, assistant, picnic, florist.
That was it. And then photographer canceled.
Yeah. So it would have been 10 people. That's a lot of moving parts, and that leads itself to a lot of problems. Just for the fact we got schedules here, we got personalities here, we've got different. Let's say, what if the florist, all these people were volunteers? What if somebody did not do well?
Yeah.
What if the photographer wasn't very good?
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces.
Because I felt like I didn't have to do any of the planning. I said, let me rearrange my schedule, bake a little late, stay up a little late, and make this happen because she had so many moving parts. Right. So
I mean, our being, let's be the least problematic person for people. But the pros is if you are a very versatile baker, you're a baker who knows how to plan ahead and be very versatile, you're going to win out over bakers who are like, oh, we can't, or oh, this is too short notice. Or so while the con is a lot of moving parts and cancellations, the pro is the most versatile baker is going to get the most out of this.
Yeah, I would say if you are starting off in your first year and your books aren't booked,
this would be a nice
This would be a great segue into getting your name out there.
Because I know people are always like, well, I don't have the content to post because nobody's ordered it yet. Now we've got really an option to create the content. And there is no order, but you get a lot out of it. I'm going to say, there's Corrie's photography, I think, is pretty great. But having it encased with a florist.
Oh, yeah.
And a picnic and an outside.
It was a vibe.
Yeah, and the florist had made floral crowns for people. It was a lot. It was very picturesque. It was very exactly what was dreamy.
Never will you have the opportunity to be like, lady who's pretending to be the bride today.
Yes.
I want you to do this,
it was not. They were not enjoying it. These ladies were working.
They were working.
But on the flip side, imagine if you had to pay for all this, you're going to be much more out the money than if you join these collabs. So the collab is money costing, but in a way it's money saving.
We were all given a little something to get a little something.
And we'll see get a little something. The photos are one thing, and let's see if it results in this lead sourcing. Okay, now let's do setting up and joining collabs. So we talked about what a collab is, these local collabs. We talked about the pros and cons. I'm going to have Corrie break down, just walk us through the collab in a second. But let's talk about setting up or joining a collab. So Corrie mentioned that she just happened to catch this lady's post on social media. Odds of you seeing these are pretty low. So probably if you want this to happen, you're going to have to be the point of contact to set it up. So the picnic lady was the primary, which helps, and she was the setting.
Yeah.
However, if you're like, well, I'd like to do this, then you're going to be setting up, hey, guys, I'm a baker. This is what I want to do. I remember the way that lady posts. I have seen her post. She adds all the information you need.
Yeah.
She has nice line breaks. She has bulleted lists. So she configured this, and I saw the post go up, which is so funny that you jumped in on it because that community group's like 50,000 people.
I know.
But you're going to join one of these community groups, and you're going to explain, hey, guys, I want to do a local collab. I want to get some vendors together so we can create some beautiful content. Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a photographer. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for models. And here's what you get out of that. So, yeah, you're going to be playing director, which Corrie will talk about in a second. The other side is somebody's already set one up. And you caught the post and you're versatile and you're like, hey, let me know what your color palette is and I'm in and what's the theme here and I'll do it. What was your theme, Bridget?
It was bright florals. It was what is that? A flower when you go pick up
Peonies?
A flower.
Oh.
It was like it was a floral thing, but it was like she had a flower. I can't remember what she called it.
Picking?
Yeah, something like that.
So you went flower
I have
picking?
to think there.
Okay.
I have to think
when
of
that
the word.
hits, you add it to the outline and we'll cover it.
Oh, flower bar.
A flower. That was very cute. And in the photo, I'll post that photo.
Oh, good.
Yeah, group, so you guys can kind of understand what a flower bar is. But essentially, it was a wedding bridal shower.
Yes.
Concept, and essentially the friends of the person would go and be able to make their own bouquets to have in front of them, which is a really cute idea.
So they were all able to pick their own flowers. The flowers were already predetermined, the colors of them by the florist.
Just made their own.
And so whatever you put together was going to look great.
Was that the florist idea? Because that is adorable.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of creative people in one place. Okay, now let's just walk us through everything.
Okay, so I was on Facebook. I followed this picnic event planner on Instagram for a while.
Okay.
I would say maybe the past 6 months. Happenstance. She followed me. I just followed her back, and I said, "Oh, that's a good relationship. Okay. I'll engage with her content just to stay top of mind to her." But
and who doesn't like some free engagement?
Absolutely. What I learned over the past 6 months that I followed her is she is very talented and very good at what she does. So everything she does, absolutely very so stinking cute.
Oh, so Corrie didn't engage into the collab until you saw the results were very nice.
So I was like, oh, good. So then she actually didn't even post the collab on Instagram. She posted it in a Facebook group. Smart on her to get her name out there.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Because it wasn't selling, it didn't violate the rules, and it allowed a lot of people to come out in the comments, and I think you'd get tons more engagement in a community group.
Oh, yeah, because she said, look, it said model and vendor call. Okay, so you got both of you got people who wanted good photos of themselves looking, and you had vendors like me looking.
Oh, just for the flip side, the models weren't paid. They got these headshots, which is why this was very contingent on a photographer.
Yeah.
So it really threw off the poor event planning picnic lady.
I know, because
that was what a lot
that's
of
what they wanted to get out of it.
But, okay, flip side, imagine the photographer did pan out. Like, you've got everything. She's able to post in a community group, and vendors that are linking to their businesses in the comments section. Yeah. Which is a part of a sales post without being directly sales, which I think is a great strand.
Yeah. So I knew her. She knew my name. So I said, oh, hey, I just want to say, if you're looking for a baker and you don't already have one on your vendor list, I would love to submit my services for it.
I'm willing to bet she would have taken a cupcaker and a cookie and a cake.
I think so. Absolutely.
She would have gotten yours.
Absolutely.
Right. But Corrie was the only food person who volunteered.
I was the only food person.
There was a lot of fruit. Who provided the fruit?
She actually brought the food. Okay. Yeah. Then you had the florist who was there, the photographers. There was tons of photographers on there that, did offer their services, and tons of groups of ladies that said, I can get my friends together.
A free little party.
Yeah.
Did you think it was as party as they thought it would be?
No, they were working the whole time.
That's hilarious. They all came in these princessy dresses.
They did. They looked fantastic. I thought they were actual models when they showed up. I was like, oh my God.
How funny. I wonder if they were like, whoa. But they got headshots.
They got every photo that I said. They'll have access to that.
What a fun way. Corrie and I don't have any friends other than each other, and we look like each other, so we need to take pictures. Just see Corrie look in the mirror. But what a fun way to get friend photos.
Yeah.
As the trade of setting up this collab.
They ended up all going to a Mexican restaurant dressed like that, pretending that they were having a wedding.
They even gave the first lady the name Tori, and it wasn't her name. She was just Tori's wedding shower. Yeah. So I guess you could have also gotten a print person involved.
You could have gotten a print person. There was a lot of people that could be involved. Okay. I think almost that it was not so many hands. It's because the first thing was canceled.
First. And it was also her first time.
It was her first time.
So I think keeping it slim and trim was kind of a good idea. Okay, go on. So now you found her. Now, how did she schedule the first date and make a ring
Yeah,
contingent?
so I had commented on there probably a week later after she had gotten the model. She said, "Hey, Corrie, I've gotten the models ready to go. Do you mind if I message you the details on Instagram?"
Okay.
I said, "Oh, absolutely. Yeah, message me there," because we had followed each other.
Okay.
So she sent me all the
Like, did it include the color palette?
yeah, so we went
you
over
get
the
a color
color. She gave
swatches?
me her Pinterest board for it.
Smart.
Yeah, so I was able to go through the
Oh, that
Pinterest
is
board.
smart.
Then I sent
She said
her,
there was like a theme? Or
yeah,
she said
flower bar. She
Flower
said,
bar.
we're doing bright florals. We have pops of red. We have pops of orange, if you can include that, and pops of purple, which is what was
Very
in
cute.
the floral.
Now, I saw you had writing on the cookies. What was the writing?
She did request, which was told, she said, you do not have to do this. I want you to do whatever you want.
Very nice.
But since this is a bridal shower, I would like something that said Team Bride or Bride Squad.
Oh, so kind of tying it into this.
Yes.
So very nice for her. She's like, well, I have a weak spot here in my marketing content bucket of wedding bridal showers. I want to grow this. Let's make that the thing.
Yeah. So she said, can you include florals? If you can, could you include a flower cart? So in the cookies. So I made 2 of the flower carts and then
cute.
something
Oh, those are
bridal.
flower
Yeah.
carts.
Bridal to kind of tie it in together. So it's not just floral cookies, it's bridal floral.
Very nice. So extrapolating this, let's say you had to be the collab planner because you don't have a picnic lady.
Yeah.
You could say, hey guys, I want to grow my corporate girly era. I'm looking for a business with a conference room who wouldn't mind some team photos. And I'm going to turn your business into a cookie. And I want a photographer and I want somebody who does print material.
I would say what she did that was very nice is gave me the information so I didn't have to ask. Here's my Pinterest board with the flowers.
That's a great
Here's
idea.
who will be there.
Very
Here's
nice.
what I need. Here's what I'm looking for. Because at the end of the day, I was treating her like a client, and clients give me the color scheme like an invite. So it was nice that she provided that, so I didn't feel like we were like pulling teeth
Is
to
there
get each
any
other's.
information you wish she'd provided that she didn't?
You know, she was very thorough about it.
Very nice.
So
there
I
you
would
go,
say-
guys. As the planner, if you have to make your own collab, you're going to want to be thorough. I like the Pinterest board idea for these like concepts.
Yeah.
Again, if you're doing kind of if you're doing corporate girly and you're doing a team, just the logo is going to guide it.
She made me look good by saying, here's the color scheme that we're going with. If she was just like, do whatever you want, I probably wouldn't have chosen those colors and I would have looked like the oddball out.
Right. We really needed this all to work from a color palette because she brought a lot of colored items. Like the pillows were all colored.
The pillows were
And then
colored. The
the
florals
florist,
were super
yeah.
colored. So it was really nice that she shared
I
the
assume
Pinterest
she
board with me.
told the models the dress, like here's the color palette.
Yes,
tell me these
she
clothes.
said we need puffy dresses that flow that you can twirl in.
Oh.
So they all definitely
Now,
got the
you
memo.
copied in on these communications with the
Nope,
other people?
she only gave me the information I
nice.
needed.
That probably consolidate. I know it's easy to always do a CC, but maybe this is a BCC.
Yeah, which I honestly, I little do appreciate not being included on all the back and forth, but I know it put a lot
Too many
of stuff on
opinions, right?
her.
So think of the event planner as not copying the caterer and the florist on the same email. Okay, so then we have a date planned. Is there communicated that it might be rained out?
She did. So
Okay,
she said,
nice.
she said, here's the date we have. Here's the rain date. There's the rain date we couldn't do because we had an appointment. So I was like, I can't do that rain date. I said, but listen, I have a list of bakers I could absolutely recommend to you. But I said, if you have a different rain date, don't skip over me because I can probably make it
very
work.
nice. So she said, okay, we're going to do another rain date.
Yeah.
And so it comes out yesterday. Again, it's very hot. We're in Northern Virginia. It's a swamp. So Corey swam to the adult themed pool picnic party. And then, okay, you get there. And this is where you say it kind of is a little iffy because she says to you, I'm not really a loud director of people.
Yeah. So when I get there, I actually pull up. It's already set up. She told me, Corey, if you would like to arrive earlier, the models are getting there at 6. I will be there at 5:15. If you want to come
I love
in
how
between.
she does this
If you
time
would
thing.
like to take content photos with nobody there, come between 5:15 and 6.
You guys hear this? This is nice.
I know, it was very nice.
It sings to me.
I did not feel pressured because there was so much time before the models got there that I could take the cookies out of their bags easily. I wasn't feeling rushed, and she did have an assistant there who was able to help as well.
Right.
So I thought that was very, very nice.
So the models come up. Now we got a lot of moving parts here,
Yes.
and it gets a little stressful because this also caveat: this is scheduled at golden hour, which is great for photography, but it's also a setting sun. So there's only so much time after golden hour. It is dusk.
Yeah. So we did get there. This was the picnic lady's first time to do this vendor model call deal. So I could tell me and Heather, while we are not extroverts, can wear an extrovert hat.
You got about 2 hours out of me.
You guys.
After that, you got to cut off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so when I got there, I did get the vibe, and I was one of the older people there, so I could,
Oh, that's so sad.
unfortunately.
For the older
I
people.
know. Yeah. of the models. They were all waiting.
It's just a baby. It's just a baby.
So she didn't want to. She didn't want to tell me what to do. I know. I was like, please tell me where you want these cookies. I know you have a vision. She's like, I don't want to tell you where to put them. So I said, okay. She had gotten this little. What is that? A little decorated tray that had two-tiered tray. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, tell me where you want this, and I'm going to put the cookies on there the way that I like them, and then I'll put a cookie on each person's plate.
So you kind of move into vendor, and now you're party planner. Mm-hmm. Which is fine.
I would say director instead of party planner. She had everything that was set up perfectly.
Well, kind of think of her. Her hat she typically wears is the
set it and forget it. Set it and then.
In fact, the cool thing about her little picnics, because I've seen her posts, is that you just arrive and there's nobody there. Everything you want's there. Then you just leave and everything gets cleaned up. You never have to see her.
Yeah, so you can tell like we all are introverts because we choose to do this thing where nobody's there. So I bake when no one's there. She sets up when nobody's there.
The florist lady's like, I'm out of here. So now we have a bunch of introverts, but we have an extroverted event. So I think you kind of had to rise to the challenge here, but you said everyone's very responsive and almost needed it and wanted it.
Yeah. So I thought, I am behind the camera. So at the end of the day, the photos I want, I'm going to have to dictate what I want it to look like. So I actually made the event planner sit down with her stuff. And I said, we have to get photos of you. Very nice. You match this perfectly. Very nice. So we got some great photos of her for her to use for her content and everything like that. Then we called the models over. Okay. So I was like, come on, our bridal party for Tori is now seating.
Tori enjoyed this.
The fake Tori.
And then I saw you just because Corrie had sent some Snapchats last night telling, hey guys, we need you to look here. Everyone look over here. Yeah. Okay, everyone laugh at the same time. Everyone, I want you to turn around.
So then she was taking a lot of video content, which you did need to dictate what you wanted.
Yes.
So she was like, okay, and I'm going to have everyone cheers on the count of three. One, two, three,
really
cheers.
Good,
oh yeah, her videos, we were looking as they went. They looked very, very cute.
But also for the photography, that is like lifestyle photography where there's movement and excitement.
And to say, okay, hold it. Yes. Snapping a photo, and we're good.
You do have to have a primary person. Mm-hmm. Now, if you had a bunch of vendors who have strong personalities, you're going to have a bit of an issue, a clash there.
Yeah, so it was nice. The florist lady really took a B-roll and she set everything up, took a B-roll, stood back. Oh, yeah. The assistant lady took a step back.
It would have been nice. I'm just weighing in as somebody who wasn't there. If someone had a designated person who calls the shots that way, if somebody wasn't a passive personality, we didn't have a conflict.
That's because you're right. I was behind the camera. She was behind her phone taking the video. So you had a lot of, like she was in a lot of the shots because she's taking the video.
Right.
So I had to work around her, which is totally fine.
And if the photographer was there, I bet the photographer would have taken precedence because that was their thing. Yeah. So there was no direct photographer, so it made sense. So, okay, now how long did it last from start to finish?
Ungodly long. So it took me an hour to get there, and we were there for 3 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What?
From 5:15 where she set up to 6 to 7 to 8 is the photos and
the ladies, the models were there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Did it need to be that long? Not that I'm always trying to get out of events, but I am always trying to get out of events.
Because she's never had the ability to take this kind of content where someone's sitting at the table.
And there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of investment.
Yeah. She said, I'm going to get every single dollar's worth out of this. So yeah, we were there for an ungodly long time.
Do you think it's too long?
I think she got really good content. I think if I was a photographer, I would have been like, okay, I'm taking the same shot 52 times now. I'm done.
Oh, she was doing video.
It was a lot of video.
Interesting. Okay. That's long. I don't like. I don't love that, but I'm also not extroverted.
But if you were like, I really want to get some content out of this.
Oh, I was wondering. There was no wine in the photos. Is that?
It was juice.
Oh, there was drink.
It was juice. So she had him cheers and everything.
Oh, okay.
You would have thought it was wine, but it was just juice.
Oh, very smart. Mm-hmm. Maybe she needed wine at 3 hours.
One of the ladies was gluten-free, so I said, please don't eat the cookie.
Interesting. I didn't think about
I said, this is not gluten-free. This is gluten-filled.
This is gluten in its physical form. Okay, so then you guys all take it, and then how does it end?
So it ends with, so I will say it would have been nice to be like, and we're done. Oh. But she started chit-chatting with
probably would have had a start and finish time.
Yeah.
I get she was like, this is the first one, but it would have, my mental state does better when I know I can leave at a certain time.
Because she was doing the picnic design, she really had the call of how long it was going.
It's not like
as a cookier, I'm like, all right, we're done.
I'm gonna leave. I'm tired.
So I think if you are the cookier putting this collab on, it's good to talk with the vendors that like the picnic lady and be like, how much time do you think you need to set up and tear down, and then set up something around the most important person. I obviously was not the most important person.
Could an event planner been one of the vendors?
She was the event planner, so
But she isn't. She's kind of the event venue.
yeah.
In a weird way. It would be interesting if you could say, hey, and I'm also looking for an event planner,
yeah.
and you'll be a part of this vendor thing.
Yeah, so there was that. But I guess the event planner, if you had someone that was established, would already have the vendors, and she wanted to be the vendor person.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone comes in, they sit down, you have them doing it. The 3 hours is absolutely throwing me.
Oh, they're twirling.
I thought, like, why are you tired?
Yeah,
you stayed up till midnight.
They were twirling. She had them. Everyone was able to make their own bouquet. Then we had a tossing of the bouquet.
Because her whole thing, yours is like, look at this cute cookie. You can't really explain the taste. Hers is you're having fun. Like, you needed to capture fun.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so there was a lot more moving parts on her end than mine. Like, the assistant had them all take a bite of a cookie. That does not look good in camera.
But for them, they're eating. For Corrie, that's like they ate my artwork in half, and now I can't take photos of it.
Yeah, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
I wanted them to eat, so I got the content before of it sitting on the table, of it with her nice little setup and everything like that. So I was good to go. So when they were eating the cookies, not necessarily great content because someone chewing.
For you, but for someone.
Yeah, exactly. In a video, it would have been.
I would say almost like, probably, no offense to myself eating, but it's not an attractive thing.
It's not an
Maybe
attractive
just
thing.
remove it.
Yeah, so I had to
completely.
delete some of those photos.
Yeah,
because
nobody wants this like.
Yeah. So what was great was when they all took a bite of the cookie, everyone said it tasted great.
Oh, great.
So I was like, okay, good. There's some marketing right there. You know,
Can
they
I get
think
you
it
to
tastes
say
good.
that on social media on Google?
Yeah. So when they were like eating it, they were like, just so you know, I don't have any man in my life right now, but when I get married, I'm going to reach out to you.
5 wedding showers coming Corey's way. Okay, and then it wraps up. And now, how are you guys exchanging this content? So video content, is she editing it?
Yeah, she's editing it. So the picnic lady is creating a Google Drive photo.
Very nice. She meant Google Drive folder.
Yes. Oh, folder. And then we are all
one photo for you.
Yeah. The thing is, as a person who is creating content, which she's creating content, I'm creating content. I'm not going to say you have to put my watermark on there. I have to be included.
This needs to kind of be laid out ahead of time, because what happens is, if Corrie sends over her photos, but it's got this big old mixing bowl cookie company, the lady's not going to be able to use it, or is going to have to crop it out. It's going to create that awkward conversation. I would say everyone back off their watermarks for this.
Because technically we're all, like, unless you want 52 watermarks in there.
Spell it out at the beginning, like, hey, I'm not providing my watermark on this. When you get the photo, you're free to add your watermark to it. It is not required. I know some of you guys are like, people steal it. They're steal it anyways. They're going to steal it anyways.
If the photographer was there, I'm sure she would want to be tagged in anyone using
That's
the photo.
an interesting one. So keep that in mind. That all you can't spell that out after the content's created. So I would say, if this was my event, I would say to the photographer, I need the content and I need it to be optional that they tag it.
Yes.
Because sometimes it is very nice to tag everybody, but if every caption has to have 50 @, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And to have these ladies, these 5, if they want to use it as a profile picture, they don't want to.
Yeah. Like, it's got the big watermark.
At the end of the day, am I a photographer? No. So I don't know that aspect.
But the photographer has to give up what everyone else had to give up as well. That was my product. So was the cookies. So was the picnic. So was the flowers. Everyone gave up their ownership for this collaboration. And as a thank you, you can tag. But again, the real goal here is that referral network, not these photos being in the world.
Yeah. To me, if the vendors tag me, that's probably the base needs of it, because I want to reach their audience.
But Corrie now has a photo that when she posts it, Corrie can say, oh yeah, if you're looking for a photographer, I worked with blah, blah. Of course, there was no photographer. But in this essence, I would say spell that out so clearly.
I would say if she went back and she didn't know I was bringing the photos to the last second. But the camera, if it was a photographer, she would have had to have that conversation. So if you are putting this on, that is a conversation you'll need to have with whoever you bring in as the photographer vendor.
Make sure that because that's them, we're going to have that issue, because in the world of photography, your logo on an image is your calling card. We don't necessarily want calling cards for this type of collab.
Yeah, and you don't want to sour a relationship.
Yeah, what if you ordered wedding photos and they had logos on? That'd be
weird. Or how about the people who stalk people's things and say, it was so nice to take photos for you.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Your payment, and this payment is the form of referrals. That was your payment.
Yeah. So I could see her, if she adds the photos to her website and I was an actual photographer, maybe to credit in the caption of the photo or something, photo done by blah, or
do
put
it
it
ahead
on
of time. Whatever that agreement is, get it get it in writing ahead of time so that everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, because you don't want a weird relationship or it to be awkward after the fact. Like, I saw you posted it and you didn't tag me.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
And that shows a lack of communication right there. So, okay. So anything else you want to add to it? After this, I'm going to do a recap of things you wish you knew. So don't do that. But just do you want to tell us anything else?
I would say it was a fantastic opportunity. I enjoyed.
Do you think you could plan one yourself?
Because I was such a B-roll, the cookies aren't as big as like the setup. I could put it on, but I would feel I'd feel weird telling that one person with the picnic that has all the stuff, like, I'm going to need you to do this. It was great that she put it on.
I do think the person with the biggest objects, she brought a picnic table, like
and
quite a few.
The floral lady brought so much flowers. I don't know how much that kind of stuff cost.
Yeah, it was very nice. I think she got a lot of content out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good. And I was like, hey, is there anything specifically you would like me to photograph for you?
Would she say anything?
She said, no, everything you've got was amazing. Perfect. It was more than I could have asked for. And I was like, okay.
Each person had a kind of a more unique offering than typical. Like, it wasn't just a bridal shower, it was an outdoor picnic. And it wasn't just a florist, it was a flower cart.
Yeah. Yeah,
it wasn't
so it was
just,
a lot of cool things.
Yeah, it wasn't just food; it was custom cookies.
Yeah. So I felt like I was like the least of the vendors.
Could you do it though?
I think I could, absolutely. Now that I've gone through one, and I kind of see like they just need someone to direct. And
do you think she's going to do more vendor calls? I mean, it's a great marketing venue for her. Because did you say I want to do this again?
You know, we were so sweaty at the end of it. She ended up sending me the nicest messages on Instagram.
Nice.
Like, oh my goodness, this is so nice. Give me 2 weeks to get you some video to use.
This lady's great about communication.
Yeah, she was very good. And I told her, like, I said, I've taken 1 zillion photos. Yeah. I said, so I will have to edit them. So I did, because everyone likes
one photo.
So I did edit some this morning from the Sony camera. And was able to say, I said, hey, I edited some of my photos.
So did you bring both cameras?
I did. Nice. And I switched macro. Yeah. I was switching lenses. I said, listen, if I'm going to waste $75 of cookies here.
So what do you think your total time, camera, and cookie investment was?
I would say I'm in it for a couple hundred.
Right. So 2 orders you're
so I did a dozen cookies, and they were detailed with a lot of florals.
Well, it's your flex, man. Mm-hmm. This wouldn't be the time to show.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So I would say maybe the dozen cookies was like $90 worth of time and energy. I have not edited the bazillion photos yet, but that camera and lens is $4,000 that I bought.
Oh yeah, I know. You guys you don't have to spend what Corrie spends.
No, but I would say her photography and videography on her phone was legit. It still looked really good.
You can really make an iPhone work.
It really did. And it was the perfect time of day. Granted, I hate that I was out there that late.
She did that, though.
But you really, really need it.
If you had done that at noon,
it would not have looked half as good. So you had backlighting. Yeah. It was golden hour.
I can't wait. The photo you showed me looked great.
Yeah, I know. So she did definitely a great job.
So 0.5 recap, things you wish you knew about this whole concept.
I wish I knew going into it that there could be a rain day. Okay, so when I said, oh yeah, I can totally make cookies for you, I was thinking like, we'll have a runtime of a month. So I could fit her into my schedule. I didn't know she's working with so many different schedules that really the vendors are the B list because you need the models first and foremost.
Could it have been? She needed the models.
You had to have the models. Yeah. Otherwise, you could have set the picnic up, and she already had that content. She said, "I have a million photos of someone not sitting at these tables."
Fair.
So we were really working with the models, and the models not necessarily knowing each other made it even more difficult because now she's working with 5 different people's schedules who didn't know each other.
It would have been nicer if they were all friends.
Yeah, they became friends through it.
Yeah, that was great. They all went to salsa after. What else do you wish you knew?
I wish I knew that when I agreed to it, it's great that you can actually freeze cookies. So just knowing the color palette beforehand, I could have made the cookies. They could have been made in the freezer, and I wouldn't have been put out that far. The rain date being so close to the cancel date, like when she was like, okay, it's in 2 days. It really did put me out.
Maybe that would have been the expectation that the rain dates are going to be very close.
Yeah, because she didn't know. So she was like, I can have this rain date. We don't know
so much in their area.
And she's like, it could be in a month. It could not. And you want it to. We were really just working with the schedules of the people. That is raw. Yeah, so I would have felt bad to be like, oh, I can't do that date. Yeah. I'm going to have to cancel. And then, she had the florist and herself.
Then, we got really, I guess she really needed the people, but it really added everything. Okay, anything else you wish you knew?
Anything else I wish I knew? The distance was far. I did not know the area beforehand.
Yeah, we live in an area where if somebody lives a county over, you just say, I'll see you during the family reunion. We're just not going to see, because there's so much traffic in this area. So while we have access to so many people, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't have a picnic lady in my area. The flip side is that traffic and travel is so ridiculous.
Forethought a little bit was she is based in Loudoun County, which is a county over from me, which takes an hour to get there.
In the biggest county in Northern Virginia. So
I do.
It's very far.
So, but I have to think her audience is based in Loudoun County. Are they willing to drive 1 hour to get cookies? So maybe.
Who are you growing here?
Yeah, it would have been better. Granted, and I don't know anyone local who does this. It would have been better to partner with someone closer to me as far as drive time, because her audience would be closer to me.
She has a unique product, and I think that's why she's doing so well. She's grown exponentially because nobody's had this before.
So that was probably if she was a little closer. Granted,
do you think a balloon artist would have been incorporated well here?
Absolutely. If you had that going up the little flower bar, that would have been adorable.
That would be cute.
Yeah. But I think if you wanted to partner with, if you love wedding cookies, partner with an event planner. If you want to do birthday cookies, partner with a balloon artist. So the balloon garlands are super.
Partner with the target audience that you want, where those people are speaking to those people.
If you make a loss when it comes to wedding cookies because you're so in the weeds with the florals, trying to add all the details and things, maybe that's not where you want to
water that
partner
ground.
with. Yeah, because that's what she focuses on. She focuses on wedding showers. And
she could have easily, I'm sure she has most of these are kids' parties. Because I was thinking you could get a face painter, kids. Yeah. It'd be more fun, but then you lose the florist. So she probably is like, I would like to water. I mean, you're going to spend a little bit more money when it's your bridal shower. So it made sense for her.
Yeah, but if a balloon artist, I would think more so has the face painter, has a balloon bounce person and things like that.
Interesting. That is great. So a scale of 1 to 10, 1, that was a waste of my life. 10, that was the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Because I don't know the fruit that will come from this, I'm going to give it a solid 8.
An 8.
Because I was able to grow a relationship with her. She was very nice. It was nice to put face to a name.
Got a ton of content.
Yeah, tons of content.
You got to flex your cookie skills.
Got to flex my little cookie skills.
And then you met these lead sources.
And I met those lead
sources.
sources.
And you tried something new, which I always can encourage people, like, hey, put yourself out there. Try something new, see if you like it.
Would I necessarily be a fantastic person? I wanted to try to collab so I could give you guys information on how this
Corrie, I even said, why are you doing this? Corey's like, I'm literally doing it for the podcast.
I said this would be a great content, a great avenue for some people, especially when they're starting off, trying to get their name out there. I will say, and it's just because we've been to CookieCon and I tried to go on my Instagram. Like, I had the most followers of all of them. But it wasn't necessarily their audience. So I can see where they were like, oh, if you want to follow me, like these people across the world that have followed my Instagram account. But like what they had very much local following. They have grown locally. So honestly, it was better for me. They had
probably more valuable audience, but yours was more impressive.
Little did they know. So it was great that we all as vendors ended up following each other last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I thought that was fantastic. All the little model ladies followed me last night. So now I have them in my thing, and I can tell they're really scouting to see if I post any of that content.
How could you not want to see?
Yeah, so I am waiting for the lady to give me direction. I don't want to post before she does because it technically was her event. So I'm like waiting for her feedback. So she posted a video last night. It says, fun things are coming. I can't wait to show you what me, Mixing Bowl, and the
and she gave you some heads up 2 weeks is what she was looking at.
Yeah, she did. So I thought it was fantastic that way. I would say if you are starting off and you really want to get into the feeds of other local businesses and you're not booked out for a few months, this is a fantastic way to do it. If you're like, I'm sorry, I'm booked out to August.
Why not? Don't water that ground, buddy. But great idea.
I know. It was a cool experience.
I assume you could have gotten somebody who does cakes involved, and then that would have been a good
I thought a cake to have them like cutting the cakes or eating the cupcakes would have been cute.
Cupcakes would have been a good idea.
Yeah. So if you were a baker, I was able to make cake pops last minute. I will say the cake pops were harder to photograph.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was almost like,
what are you supposed to do?
Where do you put them? There was no spot for them.
Cake pops are their own vibe.
Yeah, but if I would have brought so I have a macaron tower. I wasn't able to make macarons. Really wanted to.
That would have been cute.
It would have been nice to make everything that I make for this
That would have
thing.
been nice.
It's just the turnaround time just wasn't there, so I couldn't do it. Yeah, but if you brought a nice macaron tower, that would have looked fantastic with the floral.
Corey's gonna shove a sourdough in there somehow. It's got its own
everyone had a little sourdough bread cookie on there.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was so fun. It was so pretty. When Heather posts the photo of it, you're gonna see why I wanted to be part of it.
Maybe I'll only post a photo in the Wednesday newsletter.
I guess you better sign up.
Don't post something like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post a blurry photo in the group and be like, only cool people will be able to see this photo. In the
there you go. I would definitely, if you try it out, if you want to set up, do the vendor call and do everything like that, that would be in. I will say she did it at a public park, so you didn't need to have any weird permits. She didn't need to pay any extra fees for like a venue or anything like that. Yeah, so there was kids walking around us. This little girl came at the end and she was like, "Can I say hi to the princesses?"
That's hilarious.
So I said, "Oh, give her a cake, Bob."
Oh, so funny.
Someone ate it.
As long as you're not gluten free.
Yeah, so then that was, so you did have families around there, but everyone was really cognizant that we were having this weird party in the middle of this park.
I almost think, well, from the picnic ladies, like, yeah, and the understanding that these are at public parks.
Yeah.
If they are, I'm sure you could do it on your personal property. But very cool.
Very nice.
Thank you so much for sacrificing for the podcast.
You're welcome. I never sweated so much in my life.
Yeah, well, I hate it. I think my body is predisposed to be like, should we sweat? We're going to just get started sweating.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
in
like
case
when
we
you
need to
get the
sweat later.
mustache of sweat? That was me.
I don't know what that
We'll
is.
stash one skim of sweat.
My body's like, hey, I think we should just sweat just in case we need to. Let's just start sweating now and then maybe we'll sweat again later. I don't think I smell, hopefully, but either way.
I don't know.
Okay, let's move over to the Cookie College. Dropping this week, I've been working on it all yesterday, and I'll probably have it done by today, tomorrow, is the Cookie Class Kit. Again, Cookie Class Kits drop a month before they do. So the July class will be the class dropping this week in June, this first week of June.
Yeah.
So it gives people a whole month and a half. Let's say you put the class July 14th, 15th. You have a whole month and a half to promote it. This is actually called Christmas in July. So it is one of the classes that you kind of have to teach in July.
In July.
So the concept is Santa.
Santa's
on vacation, and so is a gingerbread. So the cookies you have a gingerbread man, and he's
in a little grass hula skirt.
Yes. Then we have a snowman, and he is very sandy.
He's got his sand, just so you know, is light brown sugar.
Very cute.
Yes.
Then we have Santa. You never see Santa with a hat on, but he is getting his tan on.
He's got
I was like,
his tan on.
why do I have an uncanny valley feeling about Santa?
Why?
Because he has no hat on.
Oh,
You
yeah.
never see him without a hat.
Yeah, because he's
Who
getting
knew he was
a
bald?
little burn on
Why
there.
did he have to be bald? He has so much lower
Santa
hair.
is bald.
Is he?
Yes.
This man is.
No, I don't know. I have to figure out.
I don't
But
know.
I think
Never
Santa's
seen it. I was just
bald.
thinking, like, why? Because
Maybe Santa isn't bald.
We don't know. He has a hat on.
Yeah. This one's bald.
I would like to think my Santa has a bald spot.
I think I could have done a little tuft of hair.
No, that would have looked.
There was
weird.
a lot of steps. We had a
Then we have a starfish that got in on the vibes.
He stole
has a
Santa's
Santa
hat.
Yeah, very
He
cute.
did.
And then we have a surfboard with some wet on wet. I saw.
We have a white poinsettia that's in
that's
the
what
corner.
that is.
Yeah.
That's so
And then we
funny.
have it's green and red with a little cane stripe on there.
Yes, and then
So-
we have a palm tree that's a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
It's
it's got
very
a little cute details. There's one more. We're missing.
I think we got them all.
That was it.
We got Santa, starfish, snowman, gingerbread, surfboard, and palm tree.
Nice.
6.
Nice.
So all of the Cookie Class kits are included in the Cookie College membership. In fact, it's the best bet because not only do you get the Cookie Class kits from this month, this will be the 7th class, you'll get all the kits from last year, and those are all the primary holidays. So what did we do last year? Just a groovy theme? I can pull it up.
That was August of last year. We did Under the Sea theme.
Oh,
I think it was July's of last year.
I'll tell you.
We did a bee theme. I know we did the spring into spring theme.
Actually, I have it all pulled up right here. So we shopping for Father's Day last year. We launched the class kits in January last year. So it was winter warm. February we did We Go Together. That was a Valentine's Day theme. March we did Spring is Sprung. April we did Jumpin' in Easter. May was Oh Honey. June was Sand and Sugar. July was Under the Sea. August was Totally Groovy, which was fun. We actually taught that class personally, locally. September was Fall Faves. Love that. And October was Scary Sugar. November was Gobble Gobble. December was Christmas because those are best sellers. So this year we decided to do secondary classes and like secondary holidays for the classes.
Yeah.
So January did Sugar Snowman, which was our first stackable set.
I know, I love Tom.
February did Football Frosting because
Which
instead of
is the
Valentine's Day
Super
we had
Bowl,
football.
yeah.
March, we did Luck of the Icing, which is a play on the St. Patrick's Day. April, we did Sweet Sugar Singer, which is a
That was because
play
Taylor
for Taylor
Swift
Swift.
launched her new album.
May, we did Congrats Grad, which is graduation. Because May last year, we did Oh Honey. So this was more of a theme. The Oh Honey was more generic, which you could teach the Oh Honey class any month. June, we did Grill and Chill, and then we're working on July, which is Christmas in July. And so when you sign up for the Cookie College, it's $76 a month. However, let's say you said, all I have is $76. Sign up today. You have 30 days to download all of this content. Now, in addition to that, you don't only get the class kits. The class kits by themselves only get you the 7 classes this year. Yeah. And that's $63 a month for just less than for just a little over $10. For over $10 more, you can get all of last year's classes. There's actually some additional classes to these classes that weren't a part of the Kids membership that the Cookie College Kids gets as well. Yes. And you get the Cookie College courses, and you get that private Facebook group, which people say they live and die by.
Yeah, and there's a ton of freebie photos, not just from me. It's from your fellow roomies in there.
Tons. I would say more than you could possibly use at this point. We've been doing this for 3 years, so it's 3 years of content you get for $76.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like, okay, girls, well, I don't want to do that. I just want the class kits for this year. In fact, I just want the Christmas in July class. You can sign up for the Cookie class kits for $63 for one payment of $63. You get those 7 classes. Yeah. We teach classes. We teach them now it's $78 a ticket. It pays the one payment. Even for the college would pay for itself and then some. Yeah. We sell out 10 tickets per class. That does not include DIY kits, which we sell for $35 and includes a PowerPoint that we give in the Cookie class kits. So there's a lot of money to be made. Now, what I don't think everyone realizes is in the Cookie College level membership, you get the DIY kits. Where are you going?
Open the door.
Oh, sorry. Is Frankie outside? Is he in his room?
No.
I'll tell you who Frankie is in a minute. He's my twinterest.
Don't say that all, really.
Man's on a mission. So that you could sign up for, and there's a lot of content there. Now, the digital downloads, the Baker's Business Basics, the $2 Transfer Club, these are all other memberships. They are also included in the Cookie College membership. The digital downloads are, this year I departed from, you can still get the last 3 years of Instagram grid content, but this year we wanted to do something a little bit more interesting. So we were making Canva templates. Last month I did Munbin templates. Did you see Munbin reached out and said, could we
no, I did
send you a Bluetooth Munbin in exchange for some content? And then I was like, yeah, talk to me about it. And they're like, we get your firstborn child, we get your social security number. Munbin. We went 5, they said they said, you don't have to do an unboxing video, but you have to do 2 photos and they have to be on your page for a month, which I thought was fair. And I was like, we need 5 photos of your face that we will be using in our own ads. Like, that's a little aggressive.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's a lot.
Someone came to me that, the business card guy, and he was like, could you do a testimonial? And I said, literally, absolutely not. I paid for these.
Corrie bought these business cards and just out of the kindness of her heart tagged, because it wasn't sponsored content, Corrie paid for them, and tagged the printer. And he's like, treated us like its own personal marketing team.
Yeah, I was like,
finally I had to jump in. And he was like, hey, I want you to post that to your Facebook pages. And I was like, no. We don't do that. He's like, I completely understand. Do you though?
He's like, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no.
Fair. You know, got to shoot your shot, buddy. It's been the theme of the week. It's just shoot your shot. But speaking of the digital downloads, last month was the Instagram business card template. Yes. So there is fun content, and then the people in the college were like, hey, can you do cookie tags?
They wanted cookie tags like you could do for holidays. I requested cookie cake care cards.
Cookie cake
like a little bundle. Cards? I wanted a bundle, like a cookie cake, cookies, cakes.
I'll be separating
those
into different months. Thank you.
I wanted a packle.
So yeah, it's just kind of fun. Again, that's all included for that $76, or you can do the digital downloads by themselves. So again, very popcorn priced up to try to get you into college. It is the best bang for your buck. If you bought everything separately, each membership separately, it would be $182. So this does save you some money.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you sign up before next Monday, on Mondays, the second Monday of each month, they do a Get to Know Your Membership Facebook Live where you're allowed to ask questions, kind of walk you through. There's a whole other podcast there. There's courses. There's freebie photos. There's a lot.
Yeah. And we're able to dive into discussions in the Cookie College group. More so than we can in the main group, because
in the main group I'm more just like, hey everyone, be respectful.
Yeah,
in that group
we're more monitoring than we are helping.
Yeah, like here's a great example. Venmo is changing its rules for personal profiles. Basically, they're making it a toxic environment for you to take business payments outside of a business account. So they said if you don't have a business Venmo, you use a personal Venmo, but somebody toggles it as a business payment, we're charging you 2.99% instead of 1.19%. So essentially they want to, I think they're going to get everyone into a business account and then raise the rates. But for now, they're just punishing you for using a personal account, which you shouldn't have been using anyways. But we were able to discuss that in the Cookie College without everyone saying, kill Venmo.
Yeah.
It was more of like, hey, a strategy. Like, hey, you guys using Venmo? What are some other options? Things like that. Definitely worth the $76. People have been in that membership for absolute years. And we have some promos that make a yearly membership a little bit more cost effective. And there's a lot of fun stuff we do in there.
All right. Next up, we will have to actually start talking about the vendor.
Oh, we're already bringing it. Could you believe it's June?
No.
4th? In a month, it's July 4th.
I know, and that's why
then it'll be August 4th. Then it'll be September 4th.
Has to start talking about.
Corrie has a great compromise. Okay. Here is what we wanted. So we're having a Vendy Blendy segment from now till forever.
We are.
So the Vendy Blendy segment, this is what we agreed on. I'm going to lower the entry fees for the vendors to compensate for asking them that the minimum is no longer 20%, it's 25%. So it's not the 30% I asked. We decided a helpful ground is that Corrie and I will make less. Now, we don't make anything. It goes to the prizes, but we'll have fewer prizes in exchange for getting the vendors to bump up only 5%.
Only 5%.
But we need this to be the best sale they got all year.
Yeah.
I can't have a vendor saying 20% here, but 20% for the next month as well. If I'm going to absolutely spam you guys with these vendors.
We want some exclusivity.
Yes. So 25% only for 24 hours. I can promise you it'll be the best social media day your business has had. On the flip side, though, got to pay to play, buddy.
So you might say twins.
So can you tell them what the vendor blender is? Maybe they're new here.
Vendor blender,
You're like your
aka
nails on a chalkboard. Can you tell us with your nail?
the vendor blender is a government name for Vendy Blendy. Vendy Blendy happens every single year.
It's so funny. I used filters in my Gmail a lot to just categorize things. But when we first started the Vendy Blending, I called it the vendor blender. So the filter, the label is like vendor blendor.
It's
why does it
too
sound
aggressive?
Hear about it.
The Vendy Blendy happens every year. It's the day after Thanksgiving, which is technically Black Friday. Black Friday, we used to spend fighting in the malls trying to get the deals. Now we are a hefty online bias. So from the comfort of your own couch, you can shop from your favorite brands. 24 hours, they have to offer 25% off or more to be in the vendor blender. Plus they do giveaways all day long. The giveaways, we have done Eddie giveaways, which is an edible printer.
We did 2 bamboos last year.
We did 2 bamboo 3D printers in the past. You have gotten people have done cutters for a year. They've done airbrush machines.
I think this past year, Eddie gave away an Eddie last year. That was their big surprise. In total, I think the prizes the door prizes being around $20,000.
And that was just for you to be in the group. You didn't have to buy a single thing.
That's a requirement for door prizes that you do not have to spend to enter. You might have to sign up for an email list. You might have to follow on Instagram or you might have to post a selfie, but you did not have to spend money and $20,000 on the table.
It's a absolute blast. So you have cookie cutters there. You have scribes. You have ingredients are there. We had
Whipsy.
Tasty 10 did there. Whipsy, I got hooked to that. Bakety Bake was in there. We have recipe developers. There's some courses on florals and decorating cookies.
Lots of supplies. Corrie was big into wanting props. Corrie Backers did backdrops.
It
was a lot of fun. Some courses, and that was nice. Some technique courses for that. It was a lot of fun. It's a hectic day. It's so wild. My phone actually stops working.
Yeah, someone was like, "Hey, suggestion next year. Can we make it 2 days? I would rather die." I don't know. I don't think you because
Corrie and I stay up. We actually, and then I have Amy helps with it, and then the VA in India helps with it.
I wanted to say the amount of work Heather puts into this that does not look like she put any work into it. It works so flawlessly.
Every year we get a little better.
Stays up endless nights making this work, back and forth with vendors, setting up contact forms, setting up the website. Heather does so much. It's so much work that we could only do one day. Otherwise, I think we would pass away.
Yeah.
But I want to say, you might say, twins, are you saying that you are upping the price so less vendors join?
It's almost like we talk about that on the podcast. Yeah. So last year, maybe 72 vendors, and I loved them all, was a little hard to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So we think by upping just a 5%, we'll throttle some of the vendors. So it'll make the day less chaotic.
But you win.
But you guys win. The prizes
And I want to say the vendors do win. We don't allow sales and sugar cookie marketing for
This is the only
364 days.
Yeah.
But what we do is we will spam you. And like, you know how we preach, don't spam your audience and create audience fatigue? No, we do the opposite.
We absolutely do not listen to us.
We want you to like block me and Heather so you don't have to listen.
I'll tell you, a lot of the vendors that start come back.
They do.
So we've had like Bakery Tico.
Yeah.
Girls are ride or die. She took a chance that
She
first
did.
one.
She takes a chance. And I want to say the SEM group growth from year one to year now, we have let so many people in the group. So you can reach even more people that are in the mindset of buying.
Actually, I keep a running tab of how much our numbers are because the Monday morning marketing meeting with Miracles. I just want to pull this up real quick. So this is our audience across all the divisions.
Yes.
That we have that you'll be reaching not for just 1 week. I'm only reading you 1 week of numbers. This, if Corey's going to start this week, this promotion, I guess you'll be getting it forever. But on Instagram, we have, I'm just going to round it up, 30,000 followers.
Yeah. On
Facebook, we have, the big number is 111,000 followers or likes, whatever that number is. TikTok, 13,100 followers. The podcast reaches 3,000 people just a week and that constantly replays over and over again. YouTube, which I'm trying to kick off, has 1,200 followers. The newsletter has 7,000 emails. And the group, so I'm going to go, the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group has 46,200 members as of this Monday. The Cookie College, which we do promote it there, has 800, almost 900 members. The Baking Group has 15,600 members. And the Vendy Blendy group, which doesn't have anybody, but that will also be a huge tool as well. So that is everyone we reach every week from now till then across stories, post, feed, podcast, newsletter. You're not going to be able to find a better bet than this.
No.
That I can guarantee it. We make sure, because my thing is, the Vendy Blendies are my peoples.
Yeah.
The Vendies are the peoples I got to protect. Corey's fighting for the shopper.
I'm fighting for you guys.
We assign a twin to each, and we fight it out. And Corey will be like, we want more. And I'm like, we don't want to give it to you. And then we have this really fun event. It's so hectic. It's like, I think I don't really sleep a lot.
I shop till I drop.
Yeah,
I have bought stuff from there. Like I'm a little Vendy Blendy attendee.
Every year we learn more. This will be our 4th year?
Yeah.
This will be our 4th year. And I think it's really dialed in with the better discount. Not sure what the door price is, but last year we scheduled the door price post out. I think people really appreciated that. I had the vendors all have assistants now, which was very great. And then I had to encourage a lot of the vendors. Then if you're just reckless, because by the time the Vendy Blendy ends, it's very late and 24 hours later. So Corey done gone to bed. So I tell people it's just get Dagger and working for us. And then it's clear the shelves. So you don't have to discount. You can discount something 80% if you want to, which I ran a couple discounts until.
I want to say Heather has you started this. Heather renames the Vendy Blendy group to Null. Like it's null and void. But you renamed it already.
I did. So you can actually pen for the Vendy Blendy event.
So I want to tell you, everyone will pend till the day of the Vendy Blendy. So if you get in there
so early, but I know it's June.
It's because I'm raising the percentage rate that I feel like they need to get comfortable with it.
Here's a bit of the chicken and egg. So this is where I'm going to ask for your guys' help. The more of you that pen for that Vendy Blendy group, the more I can turn around and tell a vendor, hey, I think this might be a great fit for you.
Yeah, and actually a lot of you guys put the Vendies onto it last year, which is
that was
fantastic.
A new thing. Like some of you were just truly pulling in good numbers, and people were messaging us like, I've never heard of you guys before, but somebody keeps pestering me, and I think I'd be interested. And it actually was a great tool. So you guys really help. So the more people we can get pending.
With our powers combined.
We are Captain Vendy Blendy. So that'll be fun. And if Corey wants to start promoting it now.
I'm just getting the word. We're starting on the podcast, and then we'll
start.
I
haven't gotten the form up.
You're going to have to
delete that. That was the first thing that no one would. But it's so fun because people are like, can we please extend it? No. The beauty of the Vendy Blendy is that it's only 24 hours. It comes as quickly as it goes.
It does.
And it would be like, some people are like, I am waiting
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting some my Christmas gifts for myself.
Let's try to really hype up the Vendies to like lean into these. Like,
We'll have to create a little chant.
Vendies, Vendies.
Oh, you.
I'm sorry, you had a clap.
So
You do that. I remember I want to stop. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Vendies, Vendies, Vendies.
Finally.
No man left-hander.
Now you can go to your text.
Okay, let me pull that up.
So if you didn't know, you can text or call in. We prefer text. It's easier to read. But you
don't call in. I'm not checking those numbers.
No, we're not.
It's too hard to get those.
You can email or text. There we go.
Right,
We've
just
segued. The phone number is 571-556-5644. Text. We promise we will never text you back.
I got the lady that sent the DM because she didn't know how to text in. She said, listen, thank you.
Oh,
Fast forward. Great question to start off with. Hey, twins, when asking for reviews, what platform is the most valuable, Facebook or Google? Thank you for the advice.
They're
both valuable. It depends on which one you're on more. But if you're going to come from a search engine optimization and SEO perspective, it's going to be Google coming and going. Because when you get reviews in Google, they used to just be reviews. It used to just be kind of a 5 stars. That's great. Then they became a search engine ranking factor. And you can see that when you search a restaurant, and you can see that Google uses kind of an AI summary and it bolds keywords and says people talk about this.
You could say like looking for a kid-friendly restaurant in Woodbridge, and what it will do is it will pull up a review that says my kids had a blast here, and it will bold it in there. The thing is, though, it's easier to get Facebook reviews because technically we all have Facebook. The problem is we don't all have a Gmail account, and to get a Google review, the person has to have a Gmail account.
Okay, so I pulled up Corrie's review profile. And AI says people often mention. So it's using these keywords, and that became like this huge thing. Cake pops, baker, sugar cookies, cookie decorating, birthday, really hot twin sister. Yeah, you know what? The reviews never lie. Give the people what they want. So from an SEO perspective, you're going to want a Google business profile. You're going to want that profile connected to your website, and you're going to want those reviews. And Corrie will ask for reviews and be like, mention what you ordered. Say that you loved it. So, like, getting people to leave reviews that mention your area.
They're both valuable. If I had to say
Facebook is social proof.
Yes.
Google is SEO.
Yeah. If I had to say, friends and family be leaving Facebook reviews. So I take those less when I'm deciding to buy from someone than I would on Google.
The next text. Do you want me to read it aloud?
No.
I want to cancel my subscription. How do I do that?
Oh.
Thank you. If you want to, the memberships, you can cancel anytime. You just, it'll expire at the end of your 30 days. So if you're in a membership, whether it's a $2 transfer club or the Cookie College, if you want to cancel it, just go to the top right corner settings, and you can actually switch from membership to membership. So I have people come up from the $2 transfer club and switch over to the Cookie College. If you're in the Cookie Class Kits, which is $63, and you say, oh, I wish I signed up for the Cookie College, you can go to the top right, click settings, scroll down to billing, change plan, and it takes the prorated amount. So let's say you had $50 left of that month's membership. It applies it to the Cookie College. So you're actually not billed twice. You're not even.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But if you want to cancel, you can do that there too, which is sad.
Heather makes canceling easy, which was against my better judgment, but she doesn't want you to feel like
there's no hostage situation.
There's no hostage situation. If you want to be with us, be with us. If you don't want to be with us, don't.
Of course, I'd be against us. But if you have an issue with ever canceling a membership, or you have questions about your membership, I'm happy to answer those at heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com. Not my favorite text, but also you're not a hostage here.
You're not. They're not.
One last one. I'm sorry. This was texted in May when we asked everyone to text for breakfast time. So it says Happy May.
Happy May.
Happy May. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. You guys are good for my mental health, so I am celebrating you. Well, that is so nice. Brekkie today was coffee with a salt caramel syrup. Okay, my marketing question. That sounds delicious.
I like brekkie, the word.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
Right? Well, give me a little brekkie.
I'm gonna steal that.
How important is it for us to jump on treat trends when they happen? There's an added cost of learning a new thing, potentially purchasing new tools or packaging and marketing a new product, but people love trends, so I recognize that it may open the door to exposure to new customers. But then when that trend goes away, was it even worth it? Is it better to hop on a trend early or stick with your staple products you already sell well? Please and thank you.
I will say, so what she's saying about trends, we had the bro nut. Which is the brownie donut.
The fire layer.
We had the burn cakes.
Burn cakes.
So there is a lot of trends in sugar cookies. There's
what are
a
some
lot
other
of
trends?
trends as far as, we had Taylor Swift sets that were big when her
theme
and
trends,
Travis Kelce
right? But
got
she's saying
together.
new product trends.
Yes. So I would say for me, I do not jump on every trend because the cost of buying like the bro nuts, like mold and everything like that is a lot. And if I don't think I can make that out, if I was at a market each week, that's a little bit different because I think I could sell it that way. If I was a caker and the burn cakes were there, that's an easy transition.
I'm going to say, buddy up the trend with what you already have. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, yes, I do agree that bakers who are very flexible and are willing to jump on new things are going to make a killing at the beginning because they're willing to take that risk.
Cocoa bombs were quite the biggest thing. Now they're like, get
away from me, DIY kits, PYs. There's all these things. Now you can do the ones that are very close to the supplies you already have. That's probably the safest bet. There is a camp that is for jumping on a trend early. You'll get more out of it that way. There's also the camp for watching them, see how it performs, see how the longevity is, and then jumping on the trend when you want to incorporate it and keep it around. So could you be a trendy baker? There's a girl local. We talk about her a lot. She absolutely dominates the foodies groups here. Yeah. She is a very, very fast baker. I don't know how she's able to produce stuff that fast, but it was like a popular funny guy in the group. It's his birthday. He joined Costco, which he said he never would do. Then she produces a Costco cake in that same day. She gets a lot of attention for being a very fast baker to around, but the cost of that is somebody had her schedule's really tight. I think she stays up late a lot. On the flip side, you could be the slow baker who takes really calculated things. You're never going to get that level of attention because you are taking it very slowly, deciding.
Practicing, trying to get it perfect.
If it were me, I would only jump on a trend that I think I'll keep around long term.
Yeah.
I don't know that learning, buying the supplies and being like, well, it's gone. Is there a way to tell if a trend's going to last? Yes. There's some things that are more heavily just absolutely trend. Anything that's a very meme-centric, meme life is very short. The bro nuts, that's be something that you could actually keep around. While that was a trend, it's also a food product that people would keep. I don't think it'll be so crazy. Like burn cakes, I think that could stick around.
Yeah. What was crazy is the hot cocoa bombs were huge. And then Walmart, Target, all the big name brands started making them. So it really was like, it's chocolate with some.
There's some people who absolutely still dominate with the hot cocoa bombs.
But the demand for it during COVID, for whatever reason, was huge.
Would I jump if I was between something hyper trendy or learning macarons? I'd probably say if it were longevity macarons. Yeah. You could, while it's not as trendy, you're not going to have a spike in sales for it. It is a nice product to add. The learning curve is sustainable and you keep it around for longer.
I will say I'm not jumping on the trendy bakes, but I'll jump on a trendy meme that I can turn into a sugar cookie.
But still, you're not learning a new skill. You're just using sugar. So I would say as how close can you get with the trend with stuff you already have?
Trends can come and go so fast. I know. So like the hot cocoa bomb did last like 2 or 3 years, but like the burn cakes were
for
in my feed.
For anyone about to get offended that we just said hot cocoa bombs are out, they are not out. I know a lot of you make an absolute slaying, but that hyper, we're going to get these in community groups has
people were like
died
throwing
down.
Away their cookie cutters, getting the cocoa bomb molds.
Yeah, and then the audience is like, now it's just like, oh, I think, does anybody sell these? It wasn't that fever
that
pitch.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. If I were you and I'm kind of in that business mindset, I love the idea of that quick marketing. I love the idea of but I just... It would give me such anxiety when I see it starting to come down and I've invested so much. Yeah. It'd be different if you could just like pop the stuff out immediately, but like she mentioned, the learning curve.
I know.
If you want to text in, I love the text, or 571-556-5644. Get that algorithm.
Okay, let's go on to our sponsors. I'm talking about AE Core Backers. AE Core Backers, thank you. Oh, me. Sorry. My bad.
Acorn Backers was a sponsor, and they're also a vendor blender. Acorn Backers understands the vendor blender government name like I've never seen anybody, and she does 30% off. So Corey, back to the sponsor for the podcast.
I'm so tired right now. Sponsors: Eddie, the edible printer. Eddie is a direct-to-food printer. He prints directly on the tops of food. Wafer paper, never heard of her.
I'm going to brag on any of it. Corey gets an email. I don't know if we can't do it, but it was like corporate Capital One is headquartered here.
I know. I couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I know. Capital One is headquartered. Like imagine the building is a campus and it has beautiful restaurants and
Mr.
concert
Capital
venue.
One lives in Northern Virginia.
Do they?
I have no idea who that is.
There's a Wegmans at the bottom of the Capital One campus building.
Huge.
I haven't been yet. You could just see it because it's ginormous.
It's ginormous.
It's so funny. Capital One was headquartered here, and then they wanted to build this new campus. So my bike broke down between the Capital One original building and the Capital One campus. So insurance was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "The Capital Ones." He's like, "There's 2 sets," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm in the middle, but separated by miles."
It's ginormous.
Capital One says, "Hey, we're having an event. We want an Eddie printer there, and we want it to be take a picture, print them on the cookie, and let them walk away with themselves on a cookie." It's not something that we could have done, but that is what Eddie is capable of.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what we could have priced that?
Yeah,
out?
she was like, "We have 5,000 people scheduled to come. We don't need 5,000 cookies, but
Maybe.
but it was such a short turnaround time, and I was already booked."
Technically, you would need like a step and repeat, a photography setup that piped directly to the computer, that piped directly to Eddie. It could be done.
I was like, Heather, if with our powers combined, like you behind the computer, me behind the camera.
We could do it, but it would have been, we'd have to do it.
I know.
Said we had to do a dry run.
Yeah, so I was like, unfortunately, I said, I don't want you to test it out on me.
Yeah. But Eddie is that, I mean, like that's the capability he opens up because you couldn't have piped something.
Yeah, she was like, I need an Eddie. And also, if you need to know, I used to be a baker, and that's how I know what an Eddie is.
That's so funny. I was wondering, like, that was very specific.
Yeah, it was very specific, but that is something that Eddie can do for you. So I was able to make cookies for a government contractor in their new logo reveal for their campaign, which
and it prints with edible ink onto a cookie in 3 seconds.
And if you're like, I'm not ready for my corporate girly era, what it also does is cuts down on all the stencil hoarding and airbrushing where you scream and you cry because it takes 52 minutes to clean that thing after you use it for a 0.02 seconds for whatever reason. I'm like,
we were going to say, can Eddie be a bendy blending this year? No, they did not run discounts be best every year.
Yeah.
I always like throw him a bone. I was like, hey, just Jennifer, Mark, I know the answers now. But per the neoprinty guy, shoot your shot. But last year they did give away that Eddie, which is very nice.
It was fantastic. So we love Eddie. If you want to see how he is used, I would highly suggest to follow them on Instagram. They are constantly posting people's work on there. You can tag them if you ever use them, and you might be able to get featured on there. They print on the tops of macaron shells, which I think is fantastic. I still have yet to do that, and I really want to.
That's a neat idea. You do M&Ms, Mentos.
M&Ms, Mentos. People are doing on top of like hamburger bread on cheese. Yeah, it's very cool what he can do. Recently, they added a place where you can print on the top of donuts.
And you can print on the top of their K-Cups. Turns out the top of like a K-Cup, it has to be like food grade or something.
Yeah, Nova T has really nailed down how to print on the top of cake pops. Cake pucks, pretty much, but she does
cake pucks?
It's pucks, but she does put the stick in there.
Smart.
So it's cake pop technically, and she's printed on the top of them. I think it's just a fantastic tool. The coolest thing, even when I turn them on now, and I think I've known about Eddie for the last 4 years, the coolest thing ever.
Just watching him print. That's a great concept for jumping on trends without too much investment, assuming you're using Eddie for more than just trend cookies.
And I have an Eddie order this week for a local med spa opening.
Very nice. Yes. So that is corporate girly era territory.
I will say their logo is so thin, the lettering on there, I couldn't possibly pipe it without crying. So it's just another avenue to reach that Main Street collab, to collab with the business that's opening. Granted, they are paying, so I got to make my money back from the collab yesterday.
Someone got paid. Next up is Bakety Bake. It is, Corrie said that now you can try samples of it, which would be great if you're interested in possibly switching a meringue powder. Now, this meringue powder does everything, including file your taxes. So why wouldn't you try it out?
What I was thinking, you can buy a 10-pack, I think, a 5 or a 10-pack of the samples. What if you upped your ticket price for your cookie classes and included that as the freebie gift in there?
I would love it.
That would be, so you could get home and actually make your own meringue powder.
That would be great. That would be such a
just something to set you apart.
If you're already spending money on gift bags, this might be a nice
little tool.
Yeah,
so
a
you
little
give a few piping bags. A little.
I'm saying like leave out the gift bag and just do this instead.
Absolutely.
A little cookie cutter meringue powder
and a piping bag.
You'd be
set to go.
We should do that.
I might try.
Okay.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it would be so much fun. And we always are recommending. People are like, "What do you use?" So I'm always like, "Here's what I use."
Send them a link. An email with the link. Are kids getting on a half day already? Yeah, school ends next Wednesday for us. Some people, I posted a poll in the group, and people were like,
I thought it ends on the 7th.
For Fairfax County, it's the 12th.
Oh.
For Prince William.
Yeah, it's Friday.
People were like, my kid not only did they get out of school, they got back in school. Now they're going to college. That's how late this county lets
That's
out.
so crazy.
Yeah.
But that is our vendors. Please support them.
Bakety Bake code twins.
Code
at
twins
checkout.
saves you 10%.
Yeah, that could save you a little shipping costs.
Listen, I'm working for us to get 25% off.
That would be great. Could you imagine? I've never seen Bakety Bake run 25% off. Will we lose some vendies for this?
Yeah, for sure.
Will the smart ones power through? For sure.
Will the dumb ones leave?
For sure. Come on, guys.
Do you have a 20 TRS?
Yes.
You
Corrie
do.
Corrie, this is what I asked
I'm
her
an
the other day.
enabler, man.
I said, do you thrive off of calamity?
Mm-hmm.
She said, I feel, not did she say yes, she said, I feel euphoric.
It's an out-of-body experience.
Yeah. When chaos and unpredictability erupts, Corrie thrives.
Did my husband say, absolutely, I could not get another cat?
Corrie's cat Fuzz died of a heart murmur a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So I can't get another cat, but Heather wanted a cat.
Our cat, Phoebster Weepster, hates the podcast, passed away of old age. She was 17.
Yeah.
Maybe 18. It was a rescue cat.
So we have a little hole in our heart for some cats.
Right.
Heather has never had a cat.
So Corrie and her twin twist will be this tattoo she got. Yep, roll your eyes, ladies. Clutch your pearls. But I was like, oh, look at this cat on this rescue. I joined, and don't join. If you don't want to buy something, if you don't want to adopt something, don't join these Facebook groups.
Don't join sourdough if you don't want to make sourdough.
Right. Unfortunately, I knew I was tempting myself.
Yeah.
I joined this Facebook group called Persian Rescue Network, Inc. It is only a group where people post Persians that need adoption. Persian cats. Persian dogs. Persian cats and Himalayans, ragdolls, that whole kind of genre. I don't know why. I just like the look. It was the cat that Craig that we had for also 15 years. I rescued him off of Craigslist.
Recently passed. Yeah, we've had a lot of cat loss.
So I really kind of like that brand of cat because they're kind of finicky.
Yeah. The problem with that specific group is a lot of them are covertly selling.
No, not in that group. They do not allow you to sell.
Really?
You're absolutely banned from that. There's like 10 admins. Yeah.
Well, the odds are that a local cat is up for grabs is slim to none.
Very slim.
We've been in the
always
group
in
for years. So yeah, and it's like very like,
and they're not allowed. You're not allowed to transport the cats.
Yeah.
That was like the big thing. So this one cat gets posted. I said, Corrie, he gets posted. He's in Winchester, Virginia, which is not too far away, and his name is Frankie. And he was found outside stealing another cat's food.
Yeah. So they have been trying to catch Mr. Franklin for 3 or 4 months.
Caught Frankfurt. He was so matted because he was a long-haired Persian Himalayan.
Yeah.
That they didn't know if he was fixed or not. Take him to the vet. They have to shave him down, and they're like, "Oh, he's probably a pet that's been abandoned because he has probably terrible potty
Very
problems,
skinny mini.
Yeah,
he was hungry.
But the lady was like, he's actually hates other cats, and we think he developed that by having lived on the streets. He was fighting cats. We think he was attacked by a coyote, so he's had a healing wound. But he's perfect in every other way. He's very personable. He has a personality. He pees perfectly, and he just doesn't like other cats.
And they held him for months to see if they could find the owner. He was not chipped.
Okay, here's the thing, Corrie. I'm like, okay. Sometimes these adoption fees are so high.
I know.
So
That's
high.
why I'm like, are you?
Yeah, are you? So this guy's is $100.
$100.
$100. So I tell Corrie, and she's like, I'm just telling her this thought. I just said, look how cute this picture is. Corey's like, right now, apply for that. Fill out the adoption paperwork. For some reason in my mind, I thought this would take longer, but I fill out the paperwork and she calls the next morning.
I said,
Susan.
listen, it won't work. If worst case, it does work out and you need a home, my door's open.
Okay, I just needed me a backup plan. So I call Susan. She's like, hey, listen, he's ready to go. We could wrap this up by tomorrow. So Corey and I set off. Turns out it wasn't Winchester, it was West Virginia. There's a little confusion there. So Corey and I set off, and we bring Mr. Frankie home. He's peculiar.
Frankie is adorable. Let me tell you, he's a cream point Persian, because I love a technical cat name. His name is Frankie. It's Mr. Franklin is his government name. Frankfurt is it when he is bad. And Frank if he's not listening.
Oh, yeah. So Frankie came in. He perimetered the house. We were thinking, because he had to live in this lady's bathroom. She was like, I'm a rescue, but she's like, I also have a ton of cats, so I can't keep him. Otherwise, I would. He hates other cats so much, they had to live in my bathroom. So she's like, he's going to love to spread out, but he perimetered this whole house. He walked every room 5 times.
He does not like to be held. Totally fine. No, most cats don't. But he wants to be in your essence.
Yeah. But the other day, okay, so we only had him for 3 days.
Yeah.
Ruth Ann leaves really early, going a 3-mile power walk. He thinks he's alone. I'm still in the house. He just doesn't realize I'm here. The most unearthly.
Try to do it.
Ow.
I need to hear it.
Just
I couldn't hear it
wild.
yesterday when you sent it. Because I was at
you're the
little
only person who got
picnic
that Snapchat too.
thing. Oh my goodness.
And you little
Did you save
loser.
it to your phone?
No, forgot. I
How
sent it
dare
impulsively. Cam started
you?
talking. He was yelling.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
So that is my twinterest is Frankie. Probably hates the podcast as well. He's like nails on a chalkboard. Agreed. But how fun!
I know.
Here's the problem. My grandmother doesn't like animals, but she'll be 85 this month, and she mentioned it. Her mistake. Maybe I'd like a little furry friend to just keep me company. And in the morning, it's these third day, they've sat together. Him looking out the window.
He's so stinking cute. He does need his eyes watched a lot.
That little stuff's coming in.
Persians do, but what a little bug.
So Corrie's chaos has resulted in Frankie acquisition.
My twinterest. My husband said I was never allowed to get tattoos ever
Corrie
again.
has a full back tattoo, which is wild that he married somebody who has one.
So I really said, at the end of the day, do I need more tattoos? No, I got my whole back is done. I'll just hang my head that this is
You don't
what
look like somebody who has a whole back tattoo.
No, and everyone says that. And it's usually covered, and I've never
And I don't think you see it yourself. You have to
I never see it.
exorcism your head around.
Yeah, I know. I never see it at all. So I was like, I guess it is what it is. I'm getting a little bit older. Here's the thing. A famous Latin America from Colombia tattoo artist came up to visit his sister in Reston, which
He
just
got
happens to be
his
No.
visa. This is his first week visiting America, visiting his sister he hasn't seen in years.
Yeah.
But was like, yeah, I'm also this tattoo artist of very fine line details.
Portraiture.
I can't explain. Corrie got a tattoo of her dog, Sweet Baby Ray. That dog is kind of ugly.
Not ugly.
He is a bulldog.
He's a bulldog, so he got a lot of rings.
So Corrie gives this dude a picture of Ray with a tennis ball that I'd bought him from Petco years ago in his mouth.
Yeah.
It honestly looks like he used a sticker. It looks like the exact photo. He did it by just looking at the picture.
People with that kind of talent,
I don't know,
blow my brain.
So Corey's like talking to him. And he's like, English is very much my second language. I'm just practicing with you guys. But Corey's like, how long have you been tattooing? I thought he was going to be like, when I was 2, I grabbed a pencil.
Yeah.
He said, I got bored of COVID started. So I just decided, I said, well, were you drawing before that? No, I never had drawn anything.
The man's had this talent in his fingertips.
And held it to himself the whole time.
He just stared at the picture of Ray as he was tattooing. I said,
did
there's
take 4
no...
hours.
the detail, he really went above and
So he
beyond.
wanted to, because he would like more American clientele, he said, that tennis ball has a logo on it. He tattooed the logo.
It's the tiniest logo. I can't believe,
you think that we're being kind here, but I cannot explain to you how detailed this is that it almost looks unreal. Because it looks so real.
Yeah.
Like tattoos aren't even supposed to look that real.
I know.
Yours looks like Ray is with us right
I
now.
would never have gotten the opportunity to get him to be able to tattoo me. Obviously, I don't leave my home, and he's in Colombia. So that
Would
the
you be
fact
at a
that
picnic?
it worked out, just
His sister is super nice. She now wants to order cookies for her husband's 40th birthday.
We had a lot of time to chit chat.
Yeah, because Corey's took 4 hours, but I think you're very happy with that.
Very happy.
Where could people see the photo if they want to see it?
It's on my stories right now, but you only got a few more hours left.
All right, guys. Well, this isn't going to be posted until
Hustle,
expire. You want to get it? Listen to it.
Maybe I'll post it to my
Are you
Facebook
happy with it?
Oh my goodness. Granted, is it on my arm? I couldn't put it somewhere I couldn't see. It's so
You want to put
well
it on your butt cheek?
For my adult picnic.
Get a tattoo anywhere you want.
It's so well done. I was so impressed by him. Just to have someone that takes their artistry that seriously is so good at it. I just want a little piece of that.
You got it.
And I'll cover it when I'm old.
Yeah, that's what my aunt's like. He's going to look super wrinkly when you are.
Oh, yeah. There we
Is
go.
Ray dead? No, he's very much alive.
Very much alive. But I even showed him. He was impressed.
He was like, cheese? Is it
Yeah,
cheese?
right. Could not get it.
Okay, that is our twin twist. What an exciting week in the Miracle House.
Lots of moving parts. Lots of moving parts.
Frankie.
Frank. Okay, turn this off so I can find him.